Hey everyone, Professor Snart checking in as we continue on with our online 1102 course here. Just finished up Unit 4, which had us looking, in addition to working with flight patterns, the short story a little more, had us looking at a few other things related to more of the composition side of things, writing process, thesis statements, that sort of stuff. So we get into Unit 5 now. The due date for that is Monday, Feb 3rd. Let me just click us into 5. And this one's kind of a fun one. It has us reading a next short story, which you'll see listed here. There's a couple of items from the book to read, and then the short story is called Boys and Girls by Alice Munro. There's a brief quiz related to the story. It, like most of what we do, is just an open book thing, trying to not even so much test your knowledge of the story, but really draw your attention to some of the important features of the story or certain things that are going on. There's also a couple of really important videos here that will walk you through some of the MLA citation and works cited aspects of our course. I recorded these a while ago, so the screens don't necessarily look exactly like what you'll see maybe on the updated library page, or the databases themselves often change, so things might not look identical, but the basic the end product of what I create here and the basic navigation remains the same. So I think you'll get the idea, even if visually it doesn't look exactly like what we might encounter. And there's obviously two parts to it, so be sure you watch both. And you'll also find these videos repeated a couple of times throughout the course, again, because this aspect of the research part of our class, this MLA part, is so important. So be sure you really take some time here, even though we won't really get into the citation part too heavily until we actually have our first essay assignment. Okay, the discussion board assignment then, and the main component for Unit 5, is kind of a fun one. It's a little different than things we've done so far. It really has you kind of comparing the short story that we're reading and this the video here for the song Just a Girl from the band No Doubt. It's a little bit old, but many people are probably familiar with it. I've attached lyrics because you can't always necessarily make out what's being said, and I think you'll see some really surprising coincidences or parallels between the video, both in terms of lyrics, but also in terms of the visual representation of what's going on, and of course what's happening in the story. And so that's really what the discussion board is about, having us think about those interesting comparisons. Obviously the point is not so much to delve deeply into the video, but to really bring to light some aspects of the story that are really fundamental to what's going on. Hopefully we'll open your eyes to some of the things that maybe you didn't see initially going on. It's funny how paying attention to, or doing this sort of comparative thing where you're not actually focused on just the story, focus on something else, and then returning to the story can actually open up some new interpretations or new aspects of the thing that we hadn't necessarily thought of before. There's also a very basic quiz that you'll be doing, the Alice Munro or the Munro biography quiz. It honestly just tests to make sure that you've got a working library card, because what you need to do is log into the library system, find an appropriate database, and then answer this very simple quiz. So again, not testing your knowledge so much, just making sure that your library card is functional, because you'll need that more than likely for future units that we're doing. So kind of looking ahead. Speaking of which, now is a good time to look ahead to what's coming up for us. We'll have one more unit after Unit 5 here, focused on locating secondary sources, kind of again the research part of the class. But you'll notice after that we get into the first essay assignment. So it does come sort of late in our course, especially when you consider that we're just an 8-week course. But we didn't really want to jump into the full essay before having a chance to encounter some of the basic ideas, concepts, and then apply those in kind of more less ambitious writing assignments where you're just doing like a paragraph or thinking about the texts that we're reading rather than jumping right into the essay part. So it does come a little bit late, it might feel like, but it really does represent the kind of culmination of the smaller scale assignments that we've been working on. And then you can see we really do focus, like in Unit 7, 8, and 9, on more of that full-blown essay. So the first, I don't know if you want to say half, but roughly half of our course is really laying the foundation and the groundwork for applying those concepts ultimately to the bigger essay assignments, which come in the second half of the class. Okay, so hopefully everything is going okay. If you have any problems or questions or concerns, by all means be in touch with me, and I will talk with everybody soon.